Hi, Blastpop here. Today we're talking about postcard games. These are a series of postcard-sized games that are published by Against the Odds, publishes Against the Odd magazine, and also somehow related to LPS Publishing. Um, as I indicated, these are games that are on a small postcard, and they can even be sent in the mail. As you can see right here, there's room for postage and an address. Now, it's two-sided. You have a map on one side, you have instructions on the other, and you have two-sided pieces on the cards. And then what you can do is you can either mount them yourself by taking potentially two copies of the game, and then uh, playing with those. Or there are some counters available for some of the games, such as right here for a pulls apart, some pulls apart, and you can use those instead. Now, there's a whole host of different subjects on using this format. The rules may differ somewhat, as some games are point to point, some are squares, some are hexes. So you have here Morgan's a Comin', Morgan's Raid. You have one on the Civil War, the Union Forever. You have one on the bombing of Hanoi, which is called Showtime Hanoi. You have some on Stalingrad, Kharkov. The counters I showed before for some pulls apart. I got several copies of these. One here on the Siege of Rhodes. One for in Connecticut, Guarding the Land, which is the Battle of Fort Griswold. Coincidentally, a friend of mine just wrote a book on that. It just got published. And I showed him this, and he was intrigued, but he's not a wargamer, unfortunately. And then you've got one where a couple series where you've got one on part of the Battle of the Bulge about Kampfgruppe Piper. There's 4 sections to that game. I only have 3. And apparently there's 4 available for the Battle of Leipzig, and I only have the one with the Leipzig space on it. So there's probably 3 others. Again, you have instructions, you have the terrain, how to play. It might be suggested if you are playing one of these, and I haven't played any, is to photocopy the backside where the rules are, so you don't have the issue of trying to figure out the rules while you got pieces on the other side. And I have counters for the Piper Dream and the Hanoi as well, but for none of the others. Now, there are several games in the series, and I'd be interested to know, what other games there are in the series. I'm sure the publisher has that information, but there's several, and they seem to be published sporadically. And for the longest time, the only one that I saw was Mortan, and then they must have figured they were successful, and then consequently published more. A lot of them are designed by Paul Rohrbach, although there's some others that are no longer so. In any case, I'm looking to get a hold of some of the other ones. Probably put them in some kind of plastic holder and collect them. Some of these would be ideal if you're traveling on business or away with the family and you want some quiet time. You could set up the game in your room and probably play several games during the course of the evening. And obviously, they don't take up much room in your suitcase. So, in any way, I don't think anybody's really covered the idea or done much in the way of videos on these, because individually they're not substantial, but that doesn't mean they're not ingenious and interesting. So I'd be interested to see if you guys have actually played these, what you thought of them. Are they balanced, or any other thoughts that you might have? In any case, this is Blastpop. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.